Hello everybody, my name is Faith Lammers and today I'm going to be talking about Strive Behavioral Solutions. This is where I ended up choosing to do my internship. We are located in Shawano, Wisconsin, but we also have a center in Wausau. So what do we do? At Strive, we provide center-based therapy, school consultation and placement, and community support services. We do ABA therapy and school placement therapy. So the difference between ABA and school placement is ABA is called Applied Behavioral Analysis. This is usually used for our younger kids who come in as clients. They tend to be for more behavioral issues, living skills, communication issues, things like that that we need to help them on. And school placement tends to be the kids who the school either cannot support fully the way that they would like to, or the behaviors are so severe that they don't want them in the school. So the school pays us to take them for either half the day or the whole day, depending on the severity of the case. We run a social group on Tuesday nights for teenagers. So people who aren't our clients can also be in the social group. This is for anybody on the spectrum who has issues making friends, needs help socializing, things of that nature. So we have some current, some past, and some kids who have never been clients with us, and they all come on Tuesday nights. They learn some AIM lessons, they play games and things. They're taught how to socialize with each other and properly interact in social situations. Populations served. So, Strive serves ages 2 through 18. As of right now, our youngest client is actually 4, and our oldest client is 17, about to be 18. We do tend to have more of the younger kids right now. During the school year, we do get a few more older kids just because that's when we get our school placement kids back and things of that nature. However, we do have a younger population with us at the current moment. We do have some teenagers though. We provide behavioral solutions for the following. So we support people with autism spectrum disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity or ADHD. We do oppositional defiant disorder or ODD. That one's a very difficult one to work with. Academic challenges, so people who struggle with reading, people who struggle with writing, those types of situations. Restrictive and repetitive behaviors, so this can be linked to OCD, or it can just be patterns that they do that they cannot get out of that cause issues or hindrance in their daily lives. We do communicative disorders, so that is kids who are only partially verbal or nonverbal, things of that nature where they struggle to properly communicate their needs, their wants, and their desires. We do trauma-induced behavior disorders or problems, social skill deficits, and daily living skill deficits. So that can be anything from brushing their teeth, combing their hair, doing chores, getting themselves dressed, using the restroom, properly bathing themselves. These are what daily living skills would be. How we started. So Strive opened their doors first with our Shawano location. It was opened in 2020 by Kristen Floss. Since opening in 2020, we have actually expanded into Marathon County with our Wausau division. They have grown in popularity, and so has Shawano. We both have some pretty big wait lists right now, which is good, but also bad because that means we're not servicing all of these kids who do need services, but we are actively trying to expand and grow and get more people so that we can actually help as many people as we possibly can. Why we were created. Kristen founded Strive after spending many years in the field of ABA. She wanted to create a center that focused on strength-based care and ethical conduct towards clients and staff. She had noticed in the field in several different places that she worked that there were some ethical issues or boundary issues that she was kind of having trouble stomaching, and that she did not like seeing repeated on a regular basis. So she wanted to create her own center where ethics and boundaries were top priority. She wanted each client to be treated as a human and with every level of respect that comes along with that. And sometimes that care can be compromised when you have a kid with behaviors or, troubles like we do. So she really started Strive to give them a safe place to grow and get better. Our mission. Strive exists to provide high-quality, evidence-based behavioral analysis support and services. We're committed to working collaboratively with all of the individuals in the child's care team. So this could be social workers, this could be case managers, the school personnel who she works with, her parents, her doctors, her psychologists, anybody who is involved in the care or treatment of the child on the spectrum, who we are servicing is who we are in communication with. So we get release forms and consent forms to be able to talk to each of those people as we see fit. We believe in creating a positive environment and working together to develop solutions to decrease problematic behaviors while teaching functional replacement behaviors. So we really work together with the family to say, okay, what do you notice? What would you like help with? And then this is how we are going to do this. And the parents can say, yes, I like this, no, I don't like this. And then they work together to come up with a plan that works best for both the client and the family, as well as us as the providers. Our vision. So we strive to provide clients with effective behavioral solutions with applied behavioral analysis, collaboration, and innovation, allowing the child to reach their fullest potential. It's quite amazing, actually, how much growth you can see in these clients in a short period of time if you just stay consistent and you stay their safe person, their positive person. They fly amazingly. So what is ABA therapy? I've been talking about it quite a bit, so I feel like I should tell you. Applied behavioral analysis is a behavioral therapy for people with developmental disorders and autism spectrum disorders. It teaches techniques that reinforce positive behavior and decrease the amount of maladaptive behaviors and their severity. Studies have shown that ABA therapy improves socialization skills, communication, and expressive language. So basically what ABA does is we try to increase the amount of good reactions and good behavior that we see and decrease the amount of bad behaviors that we see or maladaptive behaviors. This improves the quality of life for the client as well as the family and the teachers. It improves functioning across many different boards. We introduce a stimuli, and if it gets a bad reaction, we work with them until they can tolerate and have a good reaction to that stimuli. Our approach. So we are collaborative. We work as a team throughout the entire consultative and therapeutic relationship. We stay consistent across all areas of treatment to aid in the child's success. It is important to all people involved in the child's life are on the same page and implementing the same procedures for behavioral changes to occur and be maintained. Consistency, consistency, consistency. That is one of the biggest things that we preach. We work thoroughly as a team to keep communication open. We have group messages and things like that. We are constantly sending out, this is how we want this behavior to be dealt with, this is how we want this program to be run, because if each person who's working with them has a different reaction to their behaviors, or they run different programs differently than somebody else, it creates confusion in the child's brain and they don't make the progress that we would like to see them make. So if you stay consistent across all boards, that's when you see the results that you want to see. This includes consistency at home. If parents are not being consistent with the treatment plan that we set forward, it becomes very apparent when they come in because they're not making the progress that they should be. Our approach. Innovative. We do not believe in one size fits all. All services provided are relevant to the individual and their culture. We believe in a client-oriented approach. Services are individualized to the client based off comprehensive assessments and interviews with the client's family and other professionals involved in the client's treatment. Basically, every human is different and nobody should be treated like they're the same. And that especially goes for our clients. Every single client has different sensory needs, different sensory deficits. They all have different likes, they have different dislikes. They interact with people differently, they interact with themselves differently. And just how different they are is truly amazing. But I think that's one of the best parts of the job that we do, is being able to learn what makes them them, and then how can we use that to help them be the best that they can be. So, our approach, effective. We pride ourselves on using the most effective evidence-based services for our clients. We collect data on all services provided and make data-based decisions on the treatment. If services are not achieving enough results, treatment will be modified until the results are achieved. We base our programming and interventions on the most up-to-date research and literature in the field. So as more ABA assessments and books come out, our supervisors are reading them, they're making notes, they're making adjustments to their care plans. They're teaching us. We do regular in-service training days in order to keep ourselves fresh and up to date and trained on all of the latest developments, all of the new AIM curriculums that come out. As they come out, we are being taught, we are teaching the kids. We really only want to use things that have been scientifically proven to get the results that we are looking for. So, our approach is positive. Our programming and interventions are based on positive behavioral approaches. We teach our clients new skills and behaviors through positive reinforcement procedures. So what this means is we're not allowed to say the word no. So if a client is about to do something dangerous, we don't say no, because that gives them attention, that gives them a stimulus, and that tends to get them to do it more in return because they know they're going to get a reaction or a rile out of you. So if we have a client who is going to be standing on a table, instead of saying get off the table, because you're still putting off the table into their brain, you say feet on the floor, because that means that you are telling them what part of their body you want them to do. So instead of get off the table, it's feet on the floor or butt on the seat, things like that, so that they only are hearing and thinking about the action that you want to occur. There are different positive reinforcements that we use throughout the center based on what works best for the client. So this is assessed right away when a client comes in to see us. The first thing we look for is what reinforces them, what motivates them to do good or to do work that they normally wouldn't want to do. So this can be things like foods. We have certain clients who love candy, they love chips. So we say, okay, what are we working for? If we're gonna work for M&Ms, then we have to do these questions. So then they'll do the questions because they know they're gonna get the M&Ms. This one is aerobics, so this could be jumping, dancing. Some of our clients need that constant stimulation, so they'll rock, they'll run, they'll jump on the trampoline, things of that nature that help keep them regulated from all of that stimuli coming into their system. So I have a client who, in order to get them to do work or do certain things that you want them to do, you'll say, if you want to jump on the trampoline, first you have to learn, then you can jump. So we use a lot of first then things so that they know that yes, you're going to do something that you don't like to do, but then you're going to get something that you like to do. We have compliments, which is basically praise. Praise is something that we use all the time, and we try to switch it up. We try to use the ABC method, so you don't always want to be saying good job or great. You want to try to use awesome, beautiful, fantastic. You want to switch up the words so that you're not just repeating good, good, good all day, because then it loses its reinforcement value. So praise is something that a lot of our clients love and look for. So that's something that we use pretty universally, even if they need other reinforcements as well. So these ones are like nods, high fives. So a lot of the time it's like, oh, you did awesome, high five, and then the kid gets super excited to go, yay, and then we have sounds, so music, funny voices, things of that nature. So we have some clients who love to listen to music or they watch videos. So I'll have them be like, okay, first we need to go to the bathroom, then you get to watch Blippi, or first go to the bathroom, and you get to listen to this song. And they usually pick out the video or the song that they want to watch. You have them do the task, and then they get the video. This one is drinks or milkshakes. So we have a client who works for soda. This one we don't usually use because this one is like coffee and things. We don't give our clients caffeine. If the parents send them in with caffeine, they can drink it, but we don't provide them caffeine. So this one's items. So this could be stickers, toys, electronics. So a lot of the time we'll have them bring a reinforcing item with them to a non-preferred task. So if a client doesn't like to go to circle time, but they're super invested in the Play-Doh that they're playing with, I'd be like, bring your Play-Doh with you to circle time, because then they're more likely to go to circle time because they have their preferred item with them. I can't quite read that one. Oh, peers and family. So some of our kids are super motivated by working with others, especially if they make a friend in the center. So they'll get upset when they have to go off and do a task that they don't want to do. So we say, okay, if you want to play with this person, we need to do this first. So it's a lot of first then statements. So you always have them do the stimuli, and then they get the reward. And this one is internal feelings. So they learned a new skill or they met a goal. This one tends to be a lot more reinforcing for the older children. The younger children don't quite have the understanding of the concept yet. They don't really understand that, yay, I finally did it. But the older kids, they really do. So if they've been working for something for a really long time, it can be super reinforcing and rewarding that they met their goal or that they learned a new skill. Safety care. Our staff has been trained in safety care behavioral training. It's a leading crisis prevention training course focusing on how to prevent behavioral challenges, de-escalate early, and manage behavior safety. Safety care is consistent with our goal to maintain a comfortable, safe, and learning environment. It also meets accreditation standards outlined by KARF, JCA, HOCOA, and other agencies concerned with quality care. Safety care training is something that a licensed professional has to be able to administer. It is a class that you have to pay for and attend in order to be trained in it. We take shifts training in safety care. So, a quarter of the people will go this week, they'll get trained on safety care. And then a month or two from now, the next quarter of us will go, we'll get trained for safety care. And you have to be retrained every 2 years because as the field updates and new techniques and everything emerge, you need to stay up to date on your quality of care. So you are considered certified for only 2 years, and then you have to redo the certification. So this is something that we do on a frequent basis in order to make sure that our clients are being treated with the safety and respect that they deserve during behaviors. So now we are going to meet our team. So this is our executive clinical director / owner, Kristen Floss. She is an MS and a BCBA. She started in ABA therapy in 2013. She earned her Master's of Science in Applied Behavioral Analysis from the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. She is committed to making meaningful changes in our clients' lives. Kristen is one of the best bosses that you could ever ask for. Even though she is super, super busy with all of the behind the scenes paperwork, running 2 different centers, trying to work on our plans to get new buildings and everything like that, she will also come out and onto the floor and she'll work with clients here and there if needed. She'll be out there to support us. She really is our biggest cheerleader and support system, and she's a fountain of knowledge, and she's just the most caring person you'll ever meet. So this is Jordan. She's an MA and BCBA. She's our assistant clinical director, and she's also our lead BCBA. If you have any questions, Jordan is your girl. She knows what she's talking about, and she is the most scary when she's doing our tech checks because she knows exactly what you should be doing, and so she's on it. You know, when you make a mistake, she's like, here's what you did, and it's like, okay, you're right. So she is definitely the harshest grader, but that comes from her knowledge and the care that she wants for her clients. So she wants you to do better and be better for them, and that is why she does what she does. She got her master in applied behavioral analysis from Ball State University in the fall of 2021. She is committed to impacting the lives of her clients and watching them grow. So this is Kendra. She is our Director of Operations and HR Coordinator. She's also the one that runs all of our scheduling, client scheduling, things of that nature is all her. She is the best. This is Rebecca Brown. So she is actually my internship supervisor, but she is also our Director of Clinical Services. So Becky does a lot of the treatment plan oversight. She reviews all of them. She has helped train up all of these people who got their masters, the younger ones, so like Jordan, Kendall, Sydney, Cammie. She was their peer, like their mentor during these times. She was the one that oversaw all of their clinicals and internships. She is definitely a mama bear. She is so kind, so sweet. She cares so much for her clients and so much for her staff. She has over 10 years of experience working in the ABA field. She has earned her master's in art of applied behavioral analysis with an emphasis in autism from Ball State University in 2019. She loves seeing the progress that children make and watching the staff light up when they see a client do something independently for the first time. I also agree with her on this. I love watching the staff and the parents get super excited when our clients get a milestone. Even if it's a very small milestone, it's huge to us. Kelly Smith, MA, BCBA. She is our Director of Education and Consultation Services. So she is the head of all of our school placement children. She actually originally graduated in her bachelor's in early education. So she worked as a kindergarten teacher for many, many years before she transferred to this field. She started her career in 2001. Kelly, you have any question, you can ask her. She knows so much, both in the education field and in the ABA field. She's the one that does all the communications between the school and Strive. She advocates very strongly for all of her clients that are on her caseload, all of her school placement clients. She will go to bat and she will fight for that client in the schools if she has to, and she has had to. In 2016, Kelly earned her Master in Art in Applied Behavioral Analysis from Ball State University. Kelly loves working with the child, but she also thoroughly enjoys coaching, mentoring, and teaching families and teachers how to increase skills and decrease challenging behaviors. So she also is the primary communication when they do all of their progress reviews, all of their communications with the parents about the client. She's always sitting in on those meetings. She's always there to help mediate. She's always there to help come up with solutions and figure out what works best for the teachers, the parents, and the client. She never overlooks the client's needs and wants in all of this. Plans for the future. So Strive hopes to start training staff to perform in-home services for certain clients who need extra help with daily living skills that cannot be performed at the center. This was going to be implemented a few months ago already. I was actually preparing to be trained to go in-home for one of our clients. We were going to teach things like shower skills, so how she could independently shower. We were going to teach her an independent morning routine, so brushing her teeth, getting out of bed, getting dressed, showering, those types of things, getting breakfast, all of that. We were going to go in home and we were going to help assist in the client's natural setting so that we could help reinforce and establish those behaviors on her own. However, it did fall through. So this is still something that we're trying to work on getting implemented, and I'm sure that it will in the future. Strive is currently looking into plans to build a bigger building in Shawano. So we currently have 3 different plans through 3 different companies. My boss is currently going over all the numbers, trying to figure out through the blueprints what would work best for us as staff, but also for our clients. So we are really hoping within the next year or 2 that we will have a brand new building for us in Shawano County. And then we would obviously get more staff and be able to take on more of that client list that we have waiting. And we also hope to expand to the Pulaski area next. So Kristen's goal is within the next 5 years. She's hoping that we can have a center in the Pulaski area to kind of have those clients in the Pulaski area, but also reach out to some of the Green Bay area who can't get into places like Caravel or Weep. This is my disclaimer. All of the following photos have the proper consent and release forms signed with permission to share. So all of these photos do have permission to be on here. The only client that did not want to be in there, their face is covered with an emoji. Everybody else, I have permission to have these on here. So this is our team. We have Linda, Nikki, Alyssa, Kendall, Sydney, there's me. That's Miss Becky, Allie, Mandy, Jenna, Lakin, Dan, there's Kelly, Kristen, Haley, and Miss Maribeth. Love them to pieces. Everybody who I work with is genuinely some of the nicest people I've ever met. This is the first workplace that I have not had any workplace drama at all. Everybody is so kind. Everybody is so supportive. We all care so much about our clients, and it's evident in the way that we treat them on a daily basis. Here's another picture. I was outside with a client during this one, so I was here, but I'm not in the picture. But this was one of our 4th of July parties. We always like to have little parties on the holidays to keep things festive and make things fun for the kids. This is some more pictures. You can see here's me next to Kendall with some of our clients. Here's another picture. Not a very flattering one of me, but I do love this pictures because you don't normally get to see yourself working at your job, especially in a place like this where you're not supposed to take pictures unless you have permission. So, clientele I worked with. So I gained experience working with clients who have autism spectrum disorder. I worked with 2 different clients who have oppositional defiant disorder. I had a client who had bipolar, OCD, ADHD, and ADD are very common, especially with kids who have autism or Asperger's, anxiety, and then Asperger's. So experience. This is the picture that Strive posted on our Facebook page for my 1-year anniversary. I love that they do this. Every single year that you make another year around the sun with them, they do post you. So some people have happy 3 years, happy 2 years, and then they write something really nice about you on your Facebook page, and then everybody comes in the comments and is congratulating you, and it feels very supportive and very incentivizing. So I just wanted to share that. My job position is as a behavioral technician. The levels above me are RBT, so a registered behavioral technician. I would have to get licensed through the state, take a class. And then there's the treatment therapists, and then there's the BCBAs. All of the staff are super nice, helpful, knowledgeable, and committed to the best care of the clients, parents, and staff members. They're flexible with scheduling, so anytime I needed to go to school or for any appointments that I had, I never had any issues getting off as long as I told them at least 2 weeks ahead of time. So they were very good at scheduling around my schedule. They're incredibly understanding if things change and you need your schedule to change. That was one of the things that I absolutely loved about Strive. They give you PTO time just for doing your session notes. You get PTO just for working, everything like that. They're just super, super awesome. Lots of opportunities to grow and improve. And then there's continued training and education. So I already mentioned that we do in-service training days regularly, where we get paid, we have to come in, we'll sit for 8-9 hours just being trained on multiple different things. And sometimes it's things that we've already been trained on, but it's just to keep us refreshed. And then we practice them in front of supervisors, and they coach us and they grade us until we get it right. Continued education. So they actually just sent out a thing offering to train anybody to be a licensed RBT for free. All you have to do is sign up. I've had them ask me personally if I want to go on and be an RBT. They said that they would help me become one, or they would help me get my BCBAs, things like that. They're always super motivated and want you to be motivated to grow in your field. And then incentives and clear protocols placed for staff. So we have very clear protocols that are set in stone in our handbook, and then every year at the beginning of the year, so January 1st or 2nd, we have an in-service day, and any changes that they made to the policies, they will sit both centers down in the same room, and they will sit us there until we read the entire employee handbook together from front to back. It is a very boring day. However, you learn a lot, and you know what is expected of you. You know what the policies are. There's never any question as to whether you're supposed to do this or this. And if you do have a question, you can ask literally anybody, and they always have an answer for you like that. And if they don't, they go find the person who does, and they get it back to you. They love to answer your questions. They love to be there to support and help you. And it's truly a good thing in this field, because if you had any questions or concerns, that uneasiness in you would be sensed by the client, and they would take advantage of it, and you'd both have a very bad day. Skills I learned. So I learned how to run discrete trial training, which is called VTT, natural environment training, which is called NET, reading and implementing behavior protocols, reading treatment plans, tracking data, and writing session notes. So discrete trial training is what you would kind of consider like teaching. So this is when you take them into the learning room, and this is when they learn things like safety questions. They can learn how to read or write their name. They can learn how to spell words, how to read numbers, things like that. That's more of like the learning, kind of like school and things of that nature. The natural environment training happens outside of the learning room. So this happens usually while you're playing. So if they pick up a red toy, you'd be like, oh, a red apple, or 2 giraffes, So you use numbers, you use colors, you use labels. So you're teaching things while not teaching things. So the kids are still learning, but they think that they're just playing. So that's what we consider natural environment training. This could also be things like go to the kitchen and grab your plates, grab your food. Some of these clients, they don't have those skills. They don't know what to grab. They don't know how to use a fork. So those would be natural environment things, because that's things that they do naturally already. Reading and implementing behavior protocols. So yeah, every client has their own behavior protocols, and their own behavior plan. So you really have to learn each client's how to run them. They have preventative strategies, proactive strategies, and reactive strategies. So learning what to use and when is crucial. The treatment plans tend to be your acquisition goals. So this will have your net and your DTT. Tracking data is huge. So we walk around with clickers. Some kids, you keep track of how many words they say. Some kids, you keep track of how much they elope or how much they SIB, which is self-injurious behaviors. So like head banging, scratching. Sometimes you keep track of other things like throwing, kicking, hitting, biting, things of that nature. So we keep track of several different points of data. We also keep track of net and DTT goals as well. So each client has their own binder, and it has different tabs with the different pages for the things that you need. So I learned how to spot escalation occurring and how to effectively de-escalate situations and behaviors. This was probably one of the most nerve-wracking things for me when I first started at Strive. Especially when you're new to the field and you don't have any experience, you kind of second guess yourself. You're like, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? But the more you spend time with your client, you can see their warning signs of when they're about to get agitated. You know what is potentially going to agitate them. You know how to remove certain stimulus ahead of time to kind of set them up for success, or you know how to transition them differently in order to set them up for success. And de-escalating is huge, because some clients, if they're escalated, they won't be able to process anything you say to them, anything you do. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and let them kind of regulate themselves, because the more you talk to them, the more escalated they'll get. Other kids, you need that functional communication. You need to say, you want to take a break? Let's go take a break. Or you have to give them squeezes. Like, you really have to learn each client and what works best for them. So learning how to effectively de-escalate situations is probably one of the best things I ever learned, and I'm so grateful for it. How to pair and interact with clients and their parents. That one was huge for me in the beginning. I remember sitting here and being like, how do I pair with a kid who can't talk? But it's a lot easier than you think if you pay attention to the child. And parents. Parents can be tricky to communicate with. Thankfully, the ones that I have worked with have all been very pleasant, except for one family. They were a little difficult, but just remembering to maintain those respects, those boundaries. My only job in communicating with parents is to say, this is how your kid did today, this is when they last went to the bathroom, this is how they ate. And no matter what I wanted to say, I didn't, because that is not my place and that is not my job. And that is a skill that I love that I learned, because sometimes communicating with them can be hard. But thankfully, when you're only a BT, you'd be, let me go ask my supervisor. And then you grab your supervisor, they go out and they handle those tough conversations because I'm not supposed to. Boundaries and ethics. So this one we kind of learned in school already. However, it is different once you're out in the field, because you can really see where these boundaries and ethics come into play and how to use them. I also got very good experience with this because I had multiple conversations with a few of my supervisors about one of my clients when we had some ethical concerns and issues going on within treatment in other aspects, not necessarily at our center, but in other aspects. So we were in communications with school, at home, caseworkers, things like that, to try to figure out what would ethically be the best course of action for that client. And then how to run circle time or group. So circle time, all of the clients come and sit down and one person runs it, and they kind of have to manage all the behaviors of everybody as if they were the teacher, because this tries to teach classroom skills. So learning how to run that and do that effectively and then gaining confidence in that was huge. So another thing that I learned was short error correction, long error correction, errorless, and then different levels of prompts and how to use them / fade them. So this all goes for the DTT, so learning space. So some clients have short or long error correction based on how their brain processes information and how fast. So short error correction would be, you put the 2 questions out. If the client errors, you point to it and you say, no, this, look at this one, tap this one, and then you shuffle them around. You do a distractor trial, so be like high five or hit the table, and then you ask the question again. And then if they get it right, you move on. Long error correction, if they get it wrong, you go, nope, this one, and then you do 1 distractor without shuffling, and then you ask them a question again, they get it right, you say yes, and then you shuffle, distractor trial, and then you ask them again. So instead of running it twice, you run it 3 times, and the first time you do not shuffle the stimuli. Errorless correction we tend to use when we are first teaching somebody a new skill. So say that we're teaching safety questions, and one of the questions is, what is hot and could hurt you? And we've never asked the client this question before. So I would say, hey, so-and-so, what's hot and could hurt you? And then I would also say fire. And then the client would say, fire. And then I go, good, fire is hot and could hurt you. So you provide them the answer that they need to say in order to teach it to them. Prompts and how to use them. So we have partial physical prompts, full physical prompts, gestural, there's model, and then there's verbal prompts. So there's full verbal, partial verbal, gesture, I already said gesture, but things of that nature. Those we use during error corrections or when we are trying to teach clients skills. So for some of the clients, if they have to respond verbally, you might say say you're trying to get them to say the word zebra. You'd go Z and give them that partial verbal prompt. And if they still don't get it, then you'd say zebra, and then they would say zebra. Gestural is obviously pointing. Model is, for example, if we're trying to teach how to tie a shoe, I would show them how to do it first while they're watching, and then have them do it for themselves. Partial physical is kind of, they say, usually guiding around by the elbows or the wrists, where you're not fully controlling their movement, you're kind of just guiding them in the right direction. And then full physical would obviously be hand over hand, teaching them how to do something. I have a YouTube video kind of just showing a trial run. So as you can see, they're doing the reinforcement, so she wants to work for Cheez-Its. She asked her to find the flowers, so when she didn't get it right, she kind of gave her a partial physical push. There's the distractor trial, the shuffle, so this would be short error correction. And then when she gets it right, she then gets her reinforcement. So this is kind of how it would be run during DTT time. Duties I have performed. So most of what I do is one-on-one client care. So we teach daily living skills, communication and socialization skills, DTT and NET, circle time. I follow each client's schedules, assist clients with eating, dressing, bathroom, hygiene, etc. I run circle time / group. I clean, help them clean / do chores. And then also, because we are a smaller organization, we don't have janitors and things of that such. So when my workday is done, each person who worked that day is assigned a chore to do around the center. So I also do those. I write session notes, so I have to have those turned in. So every Tuesday morning by 8 a.m. So last week's I have to be due by 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. I follow treatment plans as they are provided by the treatment therapists, and then I manage and assist in behavior prevention and de-escalation. Now for the downsides of Strive. So there are frequent schedule changes. So your daily schedule will change at least once a day. Sometimes it is just your clients getting shuffled around. Other times you lose hours, chunks of your day where you're no longer going to get paid now because you're not with clients. On really bad days, the schedule is going to change probably 7, 8, 9 times. There's not much you can do about it when clients call out or staff calls out. They do the best that they can do. However, like I said, because we're small, if you're not with a client, then we're not billing insurance, then you're not getting paid. So that can be challenging because sometimes you can be scheduled almost 30 hours and end up with only 11 hours worked at the end of the week. Or some weeks you can be scheduled 20 hours and leave with 34 hours. It really just depends on the day of the week and who calls out or who calls in. It is a hard population to work with. So unfortunately, we do have a very high turnover rate. It's not just kids on the spectrum, it is kids on the spectrum with behavioral issues. So I do have scars on several parts of my bodies. I've been bit several times. I've had chairs thrown at me. I've had tables thrown at me. I've had entire rooms destroyed. I've been called every name under the sun that you can think of. I've been clawed, kicked, hit. I've had kids jump on me. I've had kids body slam me. It can be challenging. Some days are very good. Some days are very rewarding. And don't get me wrong, I do love every single one of my kiddos. At the end of the day, they are just kids. And the fact that they are having these behaviors is exactly why they come to us. That is exactly why they need help. And they don't mean it most of the time. It genuinely is just something that happens because they don't know how to effectively communicate. But it is a difficult population, and not many people can work with our population. If you're not with a client, you don't get paid, I kind of already said, and then burnout is common. So thankfully, Strive is super good about saying like, hey, if you're starting to get burnt out, we would rather you take a week off, and save yourself and, do self-care than lose you. So like they do advocate self-care a lot, but if you're not on it 24/7 trying to do self-care, you will get burnt out before you know it, and it affects the quality of treatment that you provide for the client, and then it also affects you. How Strive prepared me for the field. So I gained confidence in my skills. I was not very confident when I first started at Strive. Now I feel super confident. I feel like I know what I'm doing in the field of ABA at least. There's still a lot I have to learn. Obviously, I'm still one of the lowest levels. I'm not out here saying that I don't need to learn more, but I have confidence in myself that I can learn more and that I will learn more as it comes, as I need to. I used to have a really hard time asking questions, but thankfully when working at Strive, I was able to really work on that, and now I have no problem being like, hey, I have a question, can I ask you super quick? I gained background knowledge in ABA and how to use it. So when I first started at Strive, they were throwing around elopement, short error correction, long error correction, SIBs, things like that, all these acronyms, all these words, and I had no idea what any of those meant. And so now that I know all of them, sometimes I'll be talking to people and they'll be like, what are you talking about? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I forget, so I think that was super cool that I got to get all of that background knowledge. Taught me how to work with a variety of populations. So I work with all kinds of age ranges, all kinds of nationalities, different cultural backgrounds, things like that. I work with kids from different areas of the state as well. So it was super cool to kind of interact with the different parents, the different kids, and see how everybody runs and operates differently and what is important to different people. So I think that was a really good opportunity. And practice boundaries and ethics, I kind of talked about that one already. And then I was able to ask questions as I saw fit. That is my presentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.